It's Sean. It's your morning marijuana motivation time. Your host with the most is Marky Saint. This is Saint's Addiction. I'm addicted to my blessed life instead of that sinful life. Had to make up the switch in my mind and in my life. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Should I have a wife? Should I get away from strife? This is what you want to do, then you're at the right show. If you want to get away from depression and mental illness and negativity, thank you for watching. That means you've liked, shared, and subscribed. I'm Reach, Preach, and Teach every morning from around the world. My name is Mark Saint. I'm the hostess with the mostest. I don't normally get new viewers, so hopefully someone shared this message with you so you can have some decision-making processes on emotional decisions. And I think we've all know what an emotional decision is. We're going to just jump into it and get to it this morning. I'm not the only one that's emotional. Every one of us has emotions. We all process emotions differently. We've all been raised actually differently to witness people and the way that they process emotions. Now, we all have them, but we don't all process them the same. And as I was talking about yesterday, when I got into one fight that led to the worst decision of my life, an abortion that I didn't want because of my emotions taking over me. I was sick as a dog. I was tired and I was angry. And when those three things mixed, it gave me an emotional cocktail that left me hungover. It wasn't like I was actually drinking, right? Because I quit drinking years ago. But the style of my emotions, right? You go to a bar, you go, oh yeah, let me get that style of drink. This is what kind of drinker I am, right? I'm a tequila shot, like I'm a partier. I need the hard hit and fast right now. That happens. All of us have a certain style, right, of alcohol and ordering. And when we go to this bar of emotions, right, all the choices that you get to choose from, most people are going to get the same emotion. And that's crazy to me because there's 36,000 different emotions, and yet we end up showing up with our emotional reactions. How is that possible? How did I end up blowing the biggest deal of my life? My firstborn child with my first wife. I end up blowing it because I got emotional. Now, again, I've been emotional my whole life, and you probably have been too. It's not easy, right? You get flooded with a whole war of chemical warfare inside of our brains. Plastic Pocket Challenge, please pick up after yourself. A whole war going on inside of our heads, you know, Plastic Pocket Challenge, I've been saying, and no one knows anything about it, but trust and believe. Like, I kind of woke up this morning, some of my Brazilian employees were harassing me, and I said, you're fired. And they're like, what's going on? I said, I just don't need the harassment. I like to keep my mornings smooth. It doesn't matter how much work you do. If you are going to give me a heart attack, a heartache, it's not worth it. And that's what we do. We make emotional decisions. These girls wanted to raise. They wanted to bug me at 8 a.m. and I told them not to. And here we are. And I said, look, you've already making half of your salary, but because you're emotional this morning, you're about to lose all of your salary in one emotional decision. And that's exactly what I did. I lost my whole future with this woman and my child, my firstborn child, because I lost my temper. I talked about it yesterday. I killed my baby. Everyone's like, what are you going on about? Yes, I killed my baby with my attitude, with the way I treated people, and the way that I respond. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? Well, look at your mind. Right? When you're going through it, I mean, if you're not going to look inside your mind and your feelings, let me get this plastic one. Whoa. Come on, plastic. Stay in the challenge. Don't be challenging. When I went inside my head, the Ferris wheel of emotions led to my decision. So now if I want to view things, if I wanted the prism to see my perception of my emotions, I could see that I got emotional instead of strategical. And how many of us have done that? How many of us make more decisions on the way we feel? Well, I feel lucky, so now I'm going to gamble. What? Gambling is a quick way to lose your money. I feel lucky. Okay, cool. Well, I feel like I love you. Well, is it real love or is it just a feeling or is it just lust? There we go again. We'll make life decisions off of feelings. And that was the whole thing that I looked at the whole time for all of us overthinkers going inside of our heads, living in a world just upstairs. By the time we got out of our heads, we were just all emotions and no strategy. By the time we got out of our heads or said something, we responded and shot from the hip instead of staying focused and taking our shot. That is the difference. That's the difference of being a gangbanger and being a sniper. You know, of all of us, we have to have some kind of mental control over ourselves. We got to go, okay, well, did I eat this morning? Probably not. So then I'm going to respond quicker, like a low blood sugar response, right? And we all know what hangry is, so I don't have to explain that to new people. But when we are inside of ourselves and we have to emotionally regulate, everyone has to do this. Every morning this is happening, whether we know it or not. We are emotionally regulating ourselves so that way we become normalized. Is what I'm saying? Normal citizen. Most of us expect people to show up without crying and putting into work and doing what they say they're going to do. We all have a normal pattern, if you will, right? I'm talking about when things become unnormal, when we start arguing with people. Like, it wasn't even about the subject that we're arguing about, it's about our emotions. And if we get to the real message, then we can establish something that's real, right? Versus the perceived issues that's going around us. We'll start making up stuff inside of our heads that didn't even happen. Oh, you said this. No, you didn't. But my emotions felt that. Well, then that's not very real. That's an interpretation of magic, right? Like, it's not really a real trick. That's a sleight of eye or a sleight of hand, and that's a trick on the eye. So when we all get into our lives, and we all will have to, you're going to have to find a way to get inside yourself and say, regulation. Is that in regulation? Is that in the rule book to pop off on someone that you're supposed to have in your child? Not in the rule book, Mark. You pulled a red flag. But I was emotional. Then you pulled an emotional flag. And every time we do that, we start talking ourselves out of opportunities. We start almost addicted to that feeling like, yeah, I'm in rage, or let's argue right now. It's an addiction. And then we're stuck in it. We're stuck in this new pattern, or this old pattern actually, of I'm only going to respond from the hip. I'm not going to take a deep breath and actually respond to you. I'm not going to actually calm the fuck down like we all talk about. More plastic. More plastic. We're not actually going to calm the fuck down, right? We're going to keep going harder and making it worse on ourselves. So this ain't the plastic pocket challenge. I don't know what else is. So while we are human, we are going to have emotions, and there's going to be days that we're going to need to be more stable than emotional. That's what it's about. When you're making these decisions like, I quit, while you're angry, you just quit a job that you didn't want to and you needed that income. I'm having an abortion, when you're supposed to just keep the baby, stay in love with me, hold tight through thick and thin, for better or for worse, like they say when you get married. That could have happened, but instead that's not what happened. What ended up happening is a whole nother twist of events that nobody wanted or could see, but because we were both emotional beings, we got the worst out of each other. So I'm asking you to show up in your life. I'm asking you to let or allow your better self to show up in your life, and that's going to make all the difference. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the difference between you making a hothead decision and then you being the best form of yourself. And that's your morning marijuana motivation, for us to be able to sit there and be our own regulation. That's what I do this morning, so we get our minds right, get that mindset right, so we can be the best forms of ourselves when we show up. Am I perfect? No. Like I said, I fucked up, and I'm extremely upset at myself over it. And I went, where was your emotional regulation, Saint? And I was just being emotional, and that decision has changed my life. And therefore I am sending that message to everyone with the sun on my back, saying, check yourself before you wreck yourself. As always, peace and love. Ciao. Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. Go have a blessed, shiny day and shine.